In this video, I'm going to be talking about my master plan for
taking over the world.
Oh wait, no, game development in a year. That's what we're going to talk about. My plan for learning game development in a year. Let's get into it. So game development is a wide-ranging subject, and trying to learn it in 1 year, well, that's going to be pretty intense. So I'm going to need a plan. But before we get into that, we need to talk about the objective. What is the objective for this channel? How am I going to measure whether I've become a game developer in 1 year? So the general goal is to go from a beginner to an independent game developer who has the skills to make a game and secure funding so that I can make this into a full-time career. But a more measurable goal would be for me to have made a single level prototype that I can then take to a publisher or maybe get crowdfunding for by the end of the year. So how do I plan to do that? So the first phase is learning the basic tools for making games. That's going to be a game engine, a programming language, and some sort of graphic software. The game engine I've picked is, of course, Unity. And that's because I want to make games for desktop and console. But also, because of its popularity, there's lots of free tutorials out there. And that's really important because I'm trying to keep this project as lean as possible. I don't really have a budget for online courses. And that obviously means that I'm going to be learning C# as the programming language. And as the graphic software, it will probably be Blender. Again, because that's open source and there's a big community, it's good to learn and there's lots of tutorials out there. So I expect that to take me about 2 months. I'm not going to be an expert in 2 months, but that will give me a good grounding so that I can move from phase 1 to phase 2. Okay, so phase 2 is making games, and lots of them. I plan to make 1 game a week, so that should be kind of a minimum of 16 games over 4 months. And during this time, I'm going to get better at using the tools, and I'm also going to be generating some ideas for my prototype. And this takes us nicely into phase 3. So for the last 6 months of the year, I'm going to be working solely on trying to build the prototype, make it very, very polished, and getting those skills of music, sound design, graphics, all those things honed so that I have something good to take to a publisher or potentially get crowdfunding for. Hopefully during this time, any people following and watching on this channel will give me feedback and help me along the way. I don't want to be making something completely alone so that when I go to take it to get funding, everyone's like, I hate this, this is rubbish, why didn't you test it? Finally, I just want to talk about my schedule because you may be interested to know how much time I can work on this, especially if you watch my first video because I talk about the fact that I actually quit my job at the beginning of the year. Even though I don't have a job and I will be having to get one soon, I don't have as much time as I thought I would have. That's because, for one, this YouTube stuff takes up a crazy amount of time. I think I spend more time on this than I do on actual study. The other part of my life is I have a family, so I have a 20-month-old daughter, and my wife works for a couple of days a week, so that means I'm looking after her on those days. So most of the time I'm able to work in the mornings or in the evenings, and I get the occasional odd day where I can work on it. It's going to be a few hours a day on most days. If you've got a full-time job or a part-time job, you might be able to manage following along doing some of this as well. But I fully understand, just do what you can if you want to join in. So yeah, that's my plan for learning game development. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about kind of my starting point. Am I a complete beginner? Am I already some sort of expert coder? Spoiler alert, no. But I think it's important to let people know where I'm starting from. So check it out. That video is going to be linked up here. And if it's not, then please subscribe and it will be uploaded soon. And hopefully I will see you there. See ya.